Hello viewers and welcome to Face TV. I'm your host Kozgay Salim. Today's video we're going to be discussing some reasons as to why people refuse to host you as you try to live or as you try to seek greener pastures in diaspora. So this video is because a lot of people have been asking me why when I try to talk to so and so to host my son, to host my daughter, they refuse. So today I'm going to take this opportunity and give you around 5 reasons as to why someone refused to host your daughter. And if you are already in Australia and someone has hosted you, please don't take it for granted. Be thankful to them. And as a parent, if someone hosts your son or your daughter, please always be in touch and be thankful, because that was a really big gesture that they did to you, and you should not take it for granted at all, because we've, over a period of time, we've managed to see people who arrive and they ended up sleeping on the floor in airports because no one is there to pick them. We've managed to see people ended up being taken to hotel, and it's so expensive to pay for accommodation in an hotel. You might end up paying around $200 a day. So that's around 16,000 Kenya shilling a day. Yeah, 16,000 Kenya shilling a day just to spend in an hotel. So it's very expensive. So if someone decided to host your daughter, your son, please be grateful and always be appreciative, because it's very expensive. So today let's go straight to reason number 1 why people refuse to host you or refuse to host your child. And the reason number 1 is notification. Length of notification. Why am I saying notification? Most of us, especially African or especially the Kenyan mentality, we like to do things slowly and in secretive. We don't want to share with anyone. We just want to keep it to ourselves until the last minute when you have a visa and you have already booked a flight. Now you start telling people, oh, my son will be traveling next week. My daughter will be traveling tomorrow. Or he's on the flight. Or the worst case scenario, someone who was supposed to host him, we can't find him anymore online. He's nowhere to be seen. Then you start calling other people. Please desist from that. Once you start a process, once you pay school fees for your kid, or once your kid has done biometrics, it's high time for you as a parent to look for anyone in Australia that you clearly know. Tell them in advance that my daughter or my son is waiting for a visa or is applying for this school, so that even those people can help you during the process. And by you giving them lengthy notice that I want you to host my son or I want you to host my daughter, those people can be able to plan themselves. If someone was living in one bedroom, he or she can now plan. Every time he works, he can do extra shift to say that by this time I'll be able to move to find a 2-bedroom house so that I can accommodate so and so. So you need to give out lengthy notice, all right, so that you can avoid disappointment. So that was reason number 1. Reason number 2 is your child's attitude. Why are we saying your child's attitude? Most of us, we come from one village back at home. So either I know your son very well or I know your daughter very well. What things do I know about your child that will make me not to host him or her? 1, if he's a drug addict and the person hosting your child is not a drug addict, they will never go together. 2, if your child is a party goer back at home, happy, and the person intending to host is not a party goer, they will never match. 3, if your child has an attitude and the person who is going to host doesn't entertain anything to do with attitude that we've been seeing your daughter or your son displaying at home, no one is gonna host. So if your child is that kind of a kid whom she never does anything or he never do anything at home, well-mannered, like your kid is just raised not to do anything, they enjoy life, They don't do anything. They have made, they do us everything for them. We know that if he or she comes here, she will not do anything, or he will not do anything. So people tend to run away from those things. So when people reject your son or daughter, know that it's around side things, that someone, or that my neighbor didn't want to host my child. So you should know, or you should search yourself, or you should search inside you as a family, say, where is the problem? So that was reason number 2. Reason number 3 is cost involved. Why am I saying cost involved? To be honest, guys, the cost of hosting someone is very expensive. Why? We in this country, we are trained, or the system in this country is always time is money. Because if you go to shift, if your time, every time you work, you get paid. So if someone looks at it in this perspective, whereby I will cancel my shift to go pick you up in airport, I will cancel my shift to drop you to do your documents that will be required, I will cancel my shift to take you to school orientation, I will cancel my shift to take you around to know places, I will add more food, I will need extra bed, or I will be able to move houses, which is extremely expensive. So people will see all those costs involved and say, nah, I've had enough. I don't want this one. And therefore they can easily say no, or I'm not ready about it, and I'm not this. So if you have anyone who's hosting your son or your daughter at the moment, be grateful to them, because they know all the cost involved, but still they took it upon themselves and say, I will host him or her. So that is item number 3 that you need to know. Item number 4 that you need to know is stability of the person hosting your kid. Do they have one job? Are they also being hosted by someone else? Because the problem that parents do is, when I come to Australia, and let's say I'm 5 months old in Australia, well, 5 months old, I haven't even known anything. I'm still new. If you take me around the same street 3 times, I'll be confused. I don't know which side is side. So those people are still new. But the problem that parents do is, they just call that person who's still new in Australia and say, my son, my daughter is coming, please host my daughter. It's very wrong. Find someone who has stayed more than a year here. That person is a little bit stable, or who has stayed 2 years and more. Those ones are very stable. So leave these people who are 6 months, 4 months. Even if they tell you we can't, it's a lie, because they don't know anything. They are still learning. They don't know what to do. They can't even have a bank statement to get a lease. So automatically they're being hosted. So you really need to know. You really need to know these things, so that you just don't send kids to host themselves. So you really need to know the financial ability of the other person. Is he stable? Is she stable enough? What do the parents say about her? If the parents say, oh, my daughter is not yet stable enough, have that one in mind. Because rent depends. Some houses start from $400 a week to $1,200 a week. So you really need to know how well are they. Lastly is, most of us in diaspora tend to live a life which is a lie. So fake life, social media life. We tend to go to social media, Facebook, Twitter, and whatever, and we post nice photos, nice cars, having meals in big restaurant and all those. We are sending wrong impression home, so that if you see my social media, my Facebook account, you'll see someone driving big cars, you will see someone hanging out and eating fancy food. Then you start building impression that they are well off, they are stable. Some of them are still being hosted. Some of them don't have even a house, they are living in shared accommodation. So we need to differentiate, talk to friends, so that you can get to know who is hosting your son or daughter inside out. Therefore, if you get to know those ones, you should be able to plan wisely and ended up knowing that your son or your daughter will be hosted or will be in good hands. Other than that, you need to know people who are going to host your son or daughter, what type of job are they doing? Are they into drugs and all those, so that you get to know, so that you don't, if someone says, I don't want to host your daughter, or I don't want to host your son, sometimes it's good luck, or it's even better, because someone look at it and like, oh man, for me at home, they know me that I'm son of pastor, or I'm a daughter of a pastor, or I'm a daughter of so and so. They know that I don't drink, they know that I don't smoke shisha and all this, but they do here. So they don't want to host you, so that you start calling home and say, hey, you know who so and so, he drinks alcohol like water, you know, so and so, he does this. So people tend to stay away from it. The worst case scenario that I know, and most of the people who are already in diaspora can affirm to this, is that most of us tend to host your son, tend to host your daughter, and once your daughter get a job, or once your son get a job and they are stable, they always move out of our houses, and they always trying to cause chaos. Or you hear stories outside that are, or they say, I was mistreated in that house, and I was done this, and then they ended up calling you at home, mom, and say, oh, you know, so and so hosted me, oh, he was horrible, or she was horrible, she was this, she was that, started whinging. And you as a parent, you take that one and you take it seriously. You forgot the good times, you forgot the hard times, that when your son or when your daughter was new, you didn't know anything, same person hold his hand, show him around and all those. So when you're now man enough, or when you're now financially stable, or you think you are now stable, you don't want anyone. So when we go through those kinds of things, we always feel scared. Some of us, we are scared really, because we've done it. You host someone, you sacrifice a lot, and then 2 months down the line, 1 month down the line, they call you sorts of names, they call you a lot of things. So you ended up saying, nah, me with hosting, no, I don't want it. So those are kind of things that will make someone not to host you at all. What do you do to avoid such things? Be responsible. Parents should talk to people in Australia, or you should talk to our parents. Let us have dialogue, so that we can get to know, I wish to host your son, but I can't, but I can refer you to someone, and I'll be able to support him from there. Such conversation, don't just get upset and stop talking to them, please. All right, that's it for today. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe on our videos, so that you don't miss every time we upload new videos. Until then, see you next time. Bye bye.